Hello, everybody, and welcome to Dash Force News. We're at the Three Amigos podcast. It's a wonderful, lovely Friday, and wow, such podcast, so Dash, much Doge pillow that I bought with Dash. With me, as always, is Brian. Hi, Brian.
Hi, Brian.
And Mark, of course.
I had no idea Joel was just going to do that. Did Darren give that to you?
No, but I took so long buying this because he has 4 of these, and he keeps buying them before I get there. I finally got one. He goes to the Free State Bitcoin shop, and then he bought them all. In fact, basically we bought most of the Doge pillows in circulation because he bought so many of them that the store has to keep on ordering from new places, and they're slightly different pillows, and they keep on getting lower quality because basically the Dash team in New Hampshire is buying up the global supply of Doge pillows for whatever reason. This was not planned. This is what you call spontaneous order.
Wow. So, okay, we've mentioned the store now.
Wow.
So what actual Dash merchandise do they have in the store?
All kinds of things. They have I wish I could find where I put mine. The wood-burned coasters. So it's like a coaster made of wood that's like laser etched with a Dash logo on them. Those are pretty cheap. I like those. Plenty of hardware wallets, plenty of shirts like HODL with the Dash thing. Of course, we see a few different permutations of those. And then I believe they have like coffee that they'll make for you that's Dash only. Like it's a crypto only place. But I think the Dash only option is coffee because, the whole Bitcoin shouldn't be used for a cup of coffee. It should. That whole argument, the whole thing is with Dash, you can buy a cup of coffee. And plenty of books, plenty of bumper stickers. Interestingly enough, they have gift cards to the local supermarket. So that if you want to buy your groceries and just live all off of Dash, it's pretty easy. So it's a pretty cool thing.
How much are the cards? They give you a discount, or is it just a regular price?
It's just straight up regular. So
That's
if
a
you're
cool service, though, yeah.
Wow,
yeah,
Joel,
it works great.
okay.
I mean, yes.
You could actually live off Dash. Did you know that? Which actually,
I had no
we've
idea.
got a lot to talk about in this podcast, but that's perfect timing.
Yes. Well, for the last thing though,
okay,
a friend knitted me a hat.
Cool.
Oh wow,
Little thing to keep me all warm in the winter. So yeah,
I could do
good day
that.
to be.
It's freezing over here right now.
Yeah, especially up there.
Yeah, I need some more hair. I need some of that coin gun throw hair. That's what I need.
Yeah,
He didn't
there's
save me
this
any.
service in the US called Locks of Love, where you have long hair and you just cut it off. You donate it to people with cancer, ailments, or male pattern baldness, and then I think that he would have.
Or you can donate to the Lex Luthor of crypto. That either way. Right? Okay, let's not get off track. So Joel, if you've been living under a rock, last week,
which I have been living on top of a rock, but
the Texas Bitcoin Conference took part. And as we're talking about living off Dash, Joel gave a fantastic speech regarding that, talking about his experience. And I think it was a fantastic talk. People obviously really resonated with it. The community loved it. I can see comments in the live Q&A now. One from Stephen Hill. Hello. Nice to see you. Says,
hi, Stephen.
Joel, well done in Texas. I think
I see a Korean person saying something in Korean, and I can't read any Korean, but I'm sure it says something about, I liked your talk at the Texas Bitcoin Conference. Can anyone confirm that?
So, Joel, tell us
Yes.
about the Texas Bitcoin Conference. How did it go in the booths? We saw from your article on dashforcenews.com, go read it if you haven't yet, that you gave out lots of Dash, right? Tell us about your experience. How did you find it? Who did you talk to? Who did you meet? How did it go?
Of course. So it was a great conference, and I need to do more of these, right? The rundown I was able to do, I had a speaking slot, and I was on the media panel, and I was on the Free Talk Live radio show. I was on the crypto show, and Block Freight, which is a company I just learned about, right? That does supposedly the blockchain of shipping, just did their first their first show, some 40-minute talk show, and I got to be on their inaugural episodes. That's 5 appearances, and of course I helped run the booth. and I gave Dash away to 19 people and set them up with first Dash wallets and did selfies. And I did that like brief live stream from Discord, although there were some technical issues, but that seemed to be fun. Unfortunately, that was during the exact window right after Amanda decided to go home for a nap. So we sort of missed that part. But anyway, it was great. It was a great conference. The Dash team was really good, of course. Of course, Pete and Amanda are great. Then we had Brian or Philadelphia, who showed up and worked
What was
hard,
the sentiment?
represented very well.
Well, what was your general feel just from talking to average people going past? Did they have a good understanding about Dash, or were they just a bit unsure?
Yeah, most people, I would say the majority of the people were pretty familiar with Dash, and they heard about it. They understood like privacy and instant transactions and something about the governance. Most people were pretty. Yes.
Brian got a package.
Wow. Oh, no, it's
Is that your
it's
big
just the Doge going? Wow, wow, such conference, much Texas, so Bitcoin. No, but it was most people knew about Dash, and most people had a generally positive thing, like attitude about it. But when you start going into it, there was a few key things that people kind of blew their mind. First off, most importantly, you get them to use it. Set them up with a wallet. You're like, well, how do I do this? You say, go in your app store, go in your Play Store, look for Dash Wallet. The first thing comes up, that's what you install. And then, all right, how do you receive funds? You have it. There you go. And it's like, wow, like in the crypto space, I mean, try doing that with Bitcoin. Bitcoin wallet, there's like a million, right? There's no like Bitcoin wallet, like the one. And then you get Bitcoin, it's like, okay, I lost $3 in the transaction. It's going to be there in like another week and a half or something. Of course, I'm being hyperbolic for dramatic effect. Or, something like Litecoin that probably does go through fairly quickly. I've looked for Litecoin wallet before, and I don't see any like one easy answer kind of thing. It's just so easy. Just, oh, here you go. You got it. And then the second thing is that surprised people is that I'm living off of it. And people thought, I'm sure that for you live off of Bitcoin, but you just live all off of not Bitcoin. That's pretty surprising to people. And then the final thing is when I started to mention these numbers and movements, like I mentioned all the teams in Africa going around, like just dozens of them. It seems I can't. There's a new one every day. It seems I can't keep up with it. The biggest one, of course, was I said, here at the Texas Bitcoin Conference, I think we sold out at about 400 tickets. Now, just a couple of weeks ago, there was a conference in Venezuela, Dash only, for 350 people. And they're like, whoa, really? Venezuela? Wow, are you sure? Like, that was the mind-blowing thing. This is like the Bitcoin / all the other coins conference. And then you got one just as big in Venezuela, which the first world kind of slightly erroneously thinks of as a complete basket case. I think it's becoming a little bit of a basket case, but is very wealthy and educated before then. And they just think, well, this like third world hellhole has just as many people just about Dash. Like it's really an interesting sort of teaching tool about that. So I think we got a lot of traction. I talked to a lot of people, bumped into a few masternode owners too, i.e. my bosses, and chatted with them, and I convinced one of them who had some masternodes in other coins like Pivx and Zencash or Smart Cash, I think, to sell them and go all in Dash. So
what about community members? Did you meet anyone from the community at all? Or was it mainly just outsiders? Or was it just a general mix?
Yeah, so obviously masternode owners would be community members, right? There's quite a few familiar faces from the Dash world there. Biggest thing is Danny from the Crypto Show is the guy who put this together, and Danny Sessom is an amazing guy. And not only did he submit the proposal for the Silver Dash sponsorship, but the Crypto Show was a co-organizer of the event. So literally I could just say, it's almost like special treatment. He just said, I'll put you at this time, put you this prime slot. I'll get you on this panel, and we'll put the Dash table right in front of the main place where everyone goes. We'll set up the 2 Dash ATMs. Just like he got everything done. And then his car had like big Dash stickers on the side. He's driving everyone around. he talked to the local rideshare group, Arcade City, and got them to take Dash. So I paid for all my rides to and from the airport and everything in Dash. It was just like Danny was like the one-man Dash shows, and if no one else showed up about Dash, it still would have been very strongly represented just because of that one guy. So
yeah,
kudos to him.
The Arcade City, is that statewide? Is it global, and do they all take Dash everywhere, or is it just a special thing for that occasion? Or is it up to the individual driver?
It's more of an individual driver thing. Arcade City started as a rideshare project that works out of Facebook groups wherever you get a critical mass. Like Austin is like easy, it's almost easier than to get like an Uber, for example. But they have an app that's out. They're getting another ICO to fund their other stuff, and they're getting incentivizations for signups and things like that. They're starting to really get into higher gear. They've had some hiccups in the past that have been pretty well documented. If you look up Arcade City on Cointelegraph, for example, there's guys who have written a lot about them. But yeah, I mean, I talked to the CEO, and I hooked up his wife with a free Dash, $10 in Dash and Dash wallet, so her selfie's in there somewhere. So I talked to him about it, and it seems like that's one of the top coins on their list to integrate as soon as they have like a proper functioning app of the payment system.
Yeah, the Lamassu ATM was the best thing that I saw. And obviously, we did the article on that this week as well, dashforcenews.com. Go check it out. But yeah, that video of Lamassu finally integrating Dash, and Alex Rue of the Dash Russian community, after sitting on that parody video for 1.5 years, I believe it is.
Why? Well, I'm sure he has his reasons, but that was good, and it was just like the only thing that wasn't perfect was they had to say Instant X, which is what Instant Send used to be called. I'm like, oh, that was such a good video.
Yeah, that was classic. So well done, Alex, if you're watching. Yeah, so let's just talk about the ATM itself. So that video was quite interesting. So it was recorded on one of those Samsung 360 cameras as well, so you could look around the conference. But it's finally nice to have another option for operators, because to date, really, it's only really been General Bytes that's offered Dash as a solution. And even then, that's not available out of the box. The operators have to go into the admin screen to activate it. So although General Bytes' proposals just passed, and I'm sure we're probably going to talk about that later, now Dash is going to be fully integrated into the General Bytes ATMs as well. NFC, Instant Send, it's two-way ATMs. So well done to Jeff and Green Candle for getting that passed. I really like the look of the POS solution. I checked out a video online of I could only find one on YouTube, one video. And if you remember last week when Jeff was on the Free Amigos, he said that someone had like an NFC sort of implant in their hand to do the POS thing. Yeah, so I found a video, and it must be the same chap, because he's doing exactly the same thing. And so what you're saying
is the Terminator came back in time to pay with stuff with his Dash hand.
Yeah, so this guy had the mark of the beast. So, and but yeah, it works. And don't forget, Jeff has actually used it before, right? When he was in Prague, so he went and checked it out. So, I think we do need to tip our imaginary hats to Jeff for being able to pull that off. Because
I'll tip my Dash hat.
Yeah, I'll tip my my farmer Irish cap that Graham DeBarra got me in Ireland. Thanks, Graham.
Yes.
And yeah, so
little rascal's hat, whatever.
Hey, one last question on the Texas Bitcoin conference. Amanda was there. What I noticed she's been getting more active again. What is she up to? Do you know?
Not sure. She's a very pro privacy person and very into personal privacy, especially being a celebrity or celebritarian for a while. All I know is there's been background talks. She said they had something coming up, and I believe she's going to submit a proposal soon. That's all I know.
Yeah. From the she did an interview on the Crypto Show, and she said, like, for the last month and a half, she's just been traveling in an RV with Pete, so they've been on the move. But yeah, it's that tweet that she sent out saying she's got something cooking, a new proposal, has got people talking. So it's nice to have Amanda back into the community and involved. She never really left Dash. It's just that she wanted to kind of have a sabbatical and just reevaluate. So yeah, I think this is a great thing. So let's see. I'm curious to see what Amanda comes up with.
Yes, another fun thing that reminded me because of Amanda, she tweeted something out, I believe today or yesterday, about Wall of Coins adding a cash in the mail option for Dash. Now this kind of needs explaining a little bit because it's a little it's interesting. So Wall of Coins is an escrow service that allows you to do peer-to-peer buying and selling of Dash for cash, right? Privately, without submitting government documents, etc., and getting registered on an exchange, just, trading peer-to-peer. Usually how that's done is you want to buy some Dash, you go to a bank branch, make a cash counter deposit, and as soon as the recipient verifies that they've gotten that cash, they release the Dash from escrow into your wallet. So you can, if you're lucky, you can get it in like a few minutes, right? Although obviously it's peer-to-peer, so it depends. So cash in the mail is instead of the seller of Dash receiving into a bank account. What if they don't have a bank account? Like I don't, Amanda doesn't. What if we don't? And literally it's just sending basically like an envelope of cash through the mail. And then which is pretty sketchy if you ask me. I mean,
would you do it?
But
seriously, would you do it? Would you put 500 quid in an envelope and post it?
Possibly. I'll have to.
I would. Sorry, $500 just to be.
I would probably do 10% of that to try it out, see if it worked. Keep doing that back and forth. But it depends on how secure it is. I've heard. We'll see. I'll have to try it out. Supposedly, it's secure enough. But if so, then it means you can trade cash for Dash instantly, like fairly quickly, without having to be in the same physical location. That's pretty huge. As long as you get over the sketchiness of this, that's pretty big.
Now, people used to do it on local Bitcoins all the time. I don't know if they still do. I guess you could technically insure it, but I don't believe you're supposed to be sending cash. I don't think they would. You would probably have to list it as something else, so the post office doesn't want you to send cash.
You have to get like signed delivery or something, some kind of insurance. Because I actually feel uneasy putting money in birthday cards and posting to people, but that's just because I'm stingy. No, I'm joking. But no, like typically you'd put like a check in to be like extra safe. But I mean, who uses a checkbook these days? We've got digital cash. We've got digital wallets. That's what it's here for, right? It's the future. It's the money revolution.
Digital hands. You just go like, you will let me pay for that bagel. Anyway, just how easy it works. But it could be, I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what security measures there are. I'm not sure if some people use other services like FedEx or DHL to send the envelope that's more secure than the government-run postal service. I don't know how that works, but for some people, it's very exciting.
Yeah, I'm sure there's many drug dealers out there thinking, "Wow, this is a great way to launder money."
Just when we're out there, just when we're trying to improve the reputation of cryptocurrency more than just a drug coin. Well, there you go. Just
okay.
You're gonna have to return your salary to the Dash network for that comment.
Well, look, we're real. This is real talk. If you can't handle the real, you need to get out the room, because this is how we do it on Dash Force. We just tell it like it is. So
we got lots of charities popping up.
Last weekend, I was in Bristol.
Want free money, huh? Fancy that.
I went to Circus City, and that actually reminds me. I was talking to someone about ATMs, and I was saying that I really like ATMs because it gives other people options that don't want to use exchanges. However, the one thing that I can't really advocate is that each of these operators can choose the percentage on top, and some of them are 10%, like, on top. Paying
That's like low. Some are a lot more than that.
Well, and I just think
like 20%.
And I was just saying, I wouldn't do that. And then some guy that I was talking to, very brave, said to me that I'd do that, and I'm prepared to eat the cost, because he purchases drugs off the dark web, but he doesn't buy Dash. He buys Bitcoin and does it that way because he says it's. He feels.
Audience, Bitcoin is the drug money.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe Monero
so he
is.
would rather do
but
that.
not Dash.
But you have to remember, like, cannabis isn't legal in the UK, so it's a bit different over here. But so, like, literally, that he would rather take that route and eat the cost, paying over the top fees to get Bitcoin that isn't connected to his, bank account or trace, and literally purchase from that. So, yeah,
Well, that's the good thing about the free market is the free market not only lets everything be possible, but the market and prices, of course, are a very good source of information, statistics, right? So you got, for one thing, when you're buying cryptocurrency, no matter what the service, there is an upcharge of some kind. And that's not just a service fee. People would rather have cryptocurrency than fiat currency because it's, scarce and valuable, etc. The other thing is buying privately, like peer-to-peer, has another upcharge, like 5 or 6% or something on average. And that's because there's a premium on, for one thing, not having to go through a setup and then submitting documents and all that. Not only hassle, but also the privacy concern if people just don't want to be logging all their financial activity. So there's that ease of use, and then there's the privacy issue, and those together have like a total of like a 5 or 6% markup right now.
Yeah, at least it could be even higher than that, and a lot of that's just because it's difficult to get it in general. There's going to be a markup. The easier it gets to get it, the less that markup's gonna. It's just free market.
So, do any of you have any questions for me about Circus City over the weekend? There is an article coming out Monday with a video interview I do with Edward, who's the proposal owner. But
how many people was there?
Well, so basically the hub office was basically the milk bar, so they would sell tickets to the Circus City events because it was a 2.5-week festival, but also as well it was like an information base for people just to walk in off the street to learn about cryptocurrency and Dash. And I spent my 2 days there, so I went to see 3 events, Circus City related. But in my downtime, I was at the milk bar where people come in to learn about Dash. And it was really interesting to see. And like the majority of the people that came in, it was a nice, relaxed, chill out vibe, comfy chairs, tea, coffee. You could sit down and relax. 7 till 11 p.m. They would have the crypto bar open with a 10% discount with Dash. But the highlight for me was the Halloween events on the Saturday night. Got the face painted and everything. Otherwise, just normal would have been scary enough, apparently. But it was underground. So there's the main train station, and there was a thing underneath where they used to, with the old locomotion steam trains, they used to put all these ash in these pits down these holes. So it was underneath. But what the reason why I mention this is they had a bar there which was accepting Dash payments. And when I got into the venue, obviously I've got Dash on my phone and stuff because I've been tipping people and stuff. So when I heard that they were accepting Dash payments for drinks, I was just on mobile data, and I'm thinking, wow, like this is old, like sort of Victorian bricks, like we're underground. I don't think this is going to work because they were just using a mobile phone wallet for payment, right? But it worked. And what was interesting for me was seeing new people that had Dash, and it was their first time using it for transaction because a lot of the artists had been received Dash as well, and they were using that as well, and they did the payments, and it still went through. So it was like, because I was panicking at one bit, but yeah, it was a really, really great night, and Edward and Zoe and Richard and the rest of the team did a really great job. So you'll learn more about that on Monday.
How do you pronounce the fellow's last name?
Ed Rapley.
Because I know a lot of people were saying Rapley, and that sounds not very pleasant.
Oh no, Rapley. And yeah, he's synthesist in the Dash community. You can find him on Discord or the Dash forums.
I believe.
Syntheist.
We'll have to check with him how he wants to say his name. But he's also known as Josh told me when he came up here to Portsmouth to visit. He's also one of the few people who should be allowed to have a waxed mustache.
He does have a very. I did have facial hair.
Else who has one should not be allowed, but him, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really interesting. I mean, look, I'm a kind of a more of a city boy, I guess. So in terms of like arts and performance, I'm just in front of my laptop all the time. So I don't really go out to these kind of events. I don't even go to like West End musical. I don't even think I've ever been to a West End musical before or anything like that. So these terms of events and stuff, I think Brian was chuckling to himself because when I said I was going to go, he was just like, oh, this is so perfect for you to go because this is so not your thing.
Yes. Everyone knows, Mark, how much you love men in tights.
Was there like Dash branding around, or is it not so much?
Yeah. So
okay.
on Monday in the article, you will see. I'll post a gallery. So in the shop, literally, there was like big Dash sign. In fact, on the boardwalk, there was a sign saying like, "Want to learn about Dash? Come in." And at first, I was there, but I was in the store, and literally, people were walking off the street just to learn about cryptocurrency. So I was a bit skeptical at first, and yeah, it worked really, really well. They tipped many people in Dash, and they were very, very well prepared. Apparently, the really interesting thing is they kept a record of everyone that they tipped in Dash. Like Ed was very thorough, and they were very well prepared because you do get instances, and this actually happened while I was there. Some people still have Windows phones. So for those watching that don't have a mobile Dash app yet, we've got the Android application and the iOS app. However, if you have an iPhone, I think that predates 2013, the iPhone app doesn't work. So occasionally, when you ask people to install the app, they wouldn't have the memory to download a new application as well. So they get prompted to delete things they don't like it. However, they were prepared. They had loads of Dash paper wallets and they had them laminated. So they were fully prepared. And what I was really impressed with, because typically when I tip people in Dash, whether it's a taxi driver or whatever, I get them to download the wallet, I tip them, and then I normally just tell them to bookmark dashforcenews.com, dash.org, and tell them about the Dash School playlist YouTube series. But they had these little printed like booklets to educate people about the recovery key, how to back up, all that stuff. So they went fully through the whole process. And I've been guilty of not really going, spending time to do it because obviously it takes a long time. And I guess that was the advantage of having the relaxed, friendly atmosphere, having a tea and coffee, and it just takes the whole sales sort of pitch away. It's just like talking to a friend, basically. Anyway, speaking of men in tights,
one is all it works.
we've just been joined by Alex Werner. Woo! How's it going, Alex? Oh,
he's very silent. He's mute.
It must have
been. Yes, it must have been part of the act, just like the mind.
Yeah, he's
act.
been in the circus.
Is it better now?
Yeah, doing.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. That's better.
Looking super fly as well.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good, actually. Pretty good.
So, how's your week been working on? You been busy?
Yeah, as always. We got a lot of stuff going on right now, and we try to ship that as soon as possible. So obviously a lot of stuff going on, and I'm in the process of onboarding two awesome new devs in the DAPI team. So yeah, actually the problem with that is that they go way more fast than what I was intended to. So I have just right now I have 4 pull requests to review, and yeah, that's good, but a lot of work.
Where are they going to be? What department are they in?
In DAPI, that's for DAPI especially. Globally, we will have the SDK and the DAPI itself to manage. And so depending on the load, we will try to balance between these two.
Excellent.
Yeah. So I actually have a question just going straight in for let's work your brain to the max, right? I'm sorry, no chill here. Over the last weekend when I was at the Texas Bitcoin conference, I had the very distinct pleasure of having quite a long chat with Paul Puey, the CEO of Airbits, or now Edge, as they're rebranding to. And he was very interested in the concept of evolution, but didn't think it was possible, right? Yeah. And this is why he didn't think it's possible. And if Paul ever listens to this, sorry for making you sound stupid because I'm not as smart as you. But what it sounded like is he said login, like username, password type info that gets encrypted. If it's sent to a centralized server, a single server, it can be secure. That information can be secure. However, to put it out in a distributed fashion all over the blockchain or however it ends up being is inherently insecure and able to be hacked, or much more able to be hacked. This is way beyond my understanding abilities. Can you help me out here?
Yeah, actually, we have. I actually read some paper on Medium from some people that I respect from the Bitcoin community that address some problems that we are in the process of solving, and they directly state, "Okay, we cannot scale because this is just not possible." What I found is that most of the part, this reflection doesn't take into account the masternode and the quorums. Let's say when you use Facebook, you will log in from your computer and you will send the data to a central server at Facebook, right?
Yes.
So it goes from your computer to Facebook. In order to make a notification, we don't do that exactly like that. The challenge is to prove that you are indeed the person you claim to be. This can indeed be done by you give back your ID they got encrypted during the way, and you check that the hash in the end is matched with the one that you have in your database. If yes, congrats, you have your cookie and you are being authenticated. In our case, we will send a challenge that can be resolved only by the person that has indeed the good login, and we send that to the user, and the user will return only the answer to that challenge. So this is not the same way as what we have the habit to use. So yeah, and we have other stuff, but at no point there is no you will not have your credential being sent to any server or any masternode. You will only have a public key probably, but that's it.
Interesting. Yeah, that's also discusses why other privacy coins have had so much trouble with mobile devices, is because a light wallet, right, would have to then communicate with a node, a server, and then that would be a point of de-anonymization. And so that's why, to my knowledge, unless someone's fixed something I'm not aware of, coins like Zcash and Monero, for example, and right now Dash as well, need a full node wallet in order to use the privacy settings. And so it sounds like what you're telling me is the implications of Dash having a masternode system would allow privacy to work on mobile devices. And correct me if I'm wrong, but would this make there a possibility that Dash is the first coin to be the first to have anonymous transactions on mobile devices?
Today it's not done, and it's not that easy to have a private send in a mobile device, because private send goes with a lot of other stuff you need to run with, such as the masternode list, for instance. Implementing masternode inside a mobile device, which is being able to run them, is not as trivial as just being a simple SPV wallet listening for a transaction or blocks. So this is what makes it not easy to do that. About why some privacy kind are not that much usable. It's more because they have there is a big CPU time to spend in order to process some stuff, and this is what caused their problem. In our case, it's a little different because we don't run a fully anonymous blockchain. So in some point it can be simpler, but that doesn't mean that it's trivial to set up a private send. Instance end, in other hand, is very trivial to set up. You just need to, broadcast a message and listen to that message.
What about Moore's law, computer law, doubling the processor speed? So in 5 years' time, our mobile phones, forget the new hardware requirements, specifications for masternodes. 5 years' time, folks, masternodes on your phone. You heard it here first.
Okay, maybe. Well, I don't think so, and I don't want us to be on that because it's the same problem as the need to run a Bitcoin node on every Raspberry Pi in the planet, and this is what slows down the Bitcoin team. So I will never say that we will one day have a masternode on your mobile phone. Probably it's possible in theory, given the Moore's law. Still, the process of developing, what we do at Dash is that in the core team is that we try to say, okay, there is that theory that has been proved until today, but it's still a theory of Moore's law. What we will do is that, okay, given today's specification, how can we do that? If, in addition to what we plan, there is the Moore's law, then it's good for us. It's even better. But we don't plan to just say, okay, that's good. We just wait for Moore's law to happen, and that's it. No, we do things given what we know today. Moore's law is only the bonus on top of that.
Hasn't Moore's law hit a brick wall? No pun intended. Hasn't it leveled off or something? I thought I read that.
Not that I'm aware of.
I'm reading that till I think 50 nanometers, and then we go for 20, and then we go for 15 now. So at some point I read that, but we cannot go much deeper because the size of an electron is or a new wall and stuff like that. Honestly, I don't have the knowledge to say. I feel like you that there is that wall, but somehow we still found some pretty way to overcome that. Like we have the new CPU that break everything now. You have awesome
graphics cards
and graphics cards and everything. I want not that long ago we were with our 200 megabyte drives, and it was freaking awesome. And now I just saw on Amazon, I thought it was something like 500 to have a 6 terabyte drive or something like that. Actually, it's 200, so it's still expensive, but not that much. So I don't do any bet on Moore's law being stopped. I won't risk that.
Can we have a topical debate? And if you're in the live chat, I want you to get involved as well, because I've got a feeling what I'm about to put out there is going to get pretty interesting. The guys don't know I'm going to do this, but as we're just talking about masternodes, it popped into my head, and I've got a feeling.
Keep your top on.
I've got a feeling it's going to be a bit of 2-on-2 action, some of that World Wrestling crypto entertainment right now. And I don't.
Repeat, please keep your top on.
Yeah. Right. I think I know how two of you here are going to react to this, but I keep seeing this come up, and I want to know your reasons why. So here,
because everyone, the network doesn't need that much. It's 1,000.
It's going to get interesting. So, do you think the masternode amount should be reduced to 500 Dash?
No.
One, the reason being is that it will make the masternode network more not secure, but I mean, the more masternodes you have, the better it's going to be, right? But not only that, from a governance point of view as well, it's going to be more distributed because it's going to allow more people to come into it. So if you're for decentralization, it's great. So let's start this conversation. I want to hear everyone's ideas. Yes, or you for or against?
I have a problem just with what you just said. Okay, so today it's 1,000. If it's for 500, it's being more distributed, but I don't understand how. Like, let's say you have one masternode. If we halve the number of collateral needed, you will then have 2 masternodes. How is it more distributed?
Because the barrier to entry is easier for other people to come in to be a masternode owner.
necessarily shared masternode.
Sorry?
None of them right now. None of the masternode share
I guess they
services
wouldn't be able to
right now
vote.
Oh well, yeah. The
have
problem
voting
is,
services.
don't get me wrong. No one wants the Masternode share service in Dash Evolution more than me, because especially when you're talking to newcomers. But I love talking to people about Dash and the governance solution. We're the first self-funding, self-governing protocol. Look at our decentralized governance system. And they're like, well, that's amazing. Like, how can I get involved in this? How can I vote? Well, you need $285,000 for a masternode. And then you just see their face drop, just like,
So,
what?
Yeah, just tell them to get a tell them to get a job.
Isn't a little complicated to have newcomers making decision right at the beginning on the budget system, given the problematics we already have with people well educated about that?
Yeah. Joel wrote an article
Yes.
about that a while back. It was really that made a lot of sense. That when we first start off, it's better to have the people who are really invested making the decisions, and then later on, when everything's in place, then yes, the whole community with the masternode shares can give their opinion once we get everything like locked down and running smoothly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so here's my my view on the evolution of masternodes in terms of the distribution, right? So in the beginning, you get a bunch of like the hardcore believers when it's just like, this is the coin that could drop to zero over a year. You don't know, you could waste it all. But if you just believe in it, you're in. Or just some random speculator saying, about $5,000-$7,000, I'm going to throw it in there. See what happens, right? You get a lot of those people who get in. Then the price goes up to around where it is now, like $280,000, $270,000 for a single node. Now those same people who had the vision and the faith in Dash since the beginning have a lot of power that they wouldn't have had normally because of their funds. And then also you have a bunch of weirdos and then maybe Fluffy Pony or some other developers and other coins who might have a couple nodes lying around just from that. You know, we got the good and the bad. But then the new people you have coming in are also more smart because they're not necessarily those old-time believers. They could also be believers, but now they're people who've amassed that much money, and they're going to be a lot wiser with their new investment in terms of the votes. And then the next level, as that keeps going on, then you're going to have to find people who will be able to build shared masternodes. So they'll have to have ways of organizing, right? They'll have to have a certain amount of at least like emotional intelligence, know other people, be able to set up legal contracts of sharing a masternode. I know some people have done this, by the way. A few of my friends have gotten some masternode together, and they've signed legal contracts and all that about who runs it. So then that requires another degree of foresight, another degree of wisdom. And then what happens when you start having custom hardware requirements for masternodes, right? What that does is just there's so many people that just have, I just gave a bunch of I have a bunch of Dash and a bunch of wallets, and I just have someone like Mukamu or Flare or someone run them, and that's it. But now what happens is for each of those masternodes, you have to figure out some custom hardware or something. You're already really rich. You're probably going to sell off like 5 of them and keep one. And then and then if you, or you might sell them all off if it becomes a pain to run them. And then the people who still care about the network are going to put in the effort to do that. And then eventually, you got shares, like trustless shares on the network, and then it evens out. Dash is an evolution, and pardon the pun.
Yeah, 500 doesn't change a whole lot as far as having the requirements to meet these new standards, the GPU, all the enhanced stuff we're going to do in the future. However, right now, the main reason I would say is because we just don't need 9,000 masternodes at this point. That's the
and that's the final.
I feel like it has to be a two-way conversation. It has to include the haves and the have-nots, because from one point of view, from masternode owners, I believe it's the return on investment is about 8.33% at the moment. But obviously, the more masternodes there are, the more distributors get. So of course, they're going to be incentivized to say like, no, I think this is a terrible idea because I want better returns. A bit like the miners in Bitcoin.
No, it's not going. That doesn't change though.
Are you sure, Brian?
I'm pretty sure
it must have entered your head a little bit. A little bit.
I don't think that the percentage changes when that happens. I don't think that changes.
So this is my thought.
The problem is that even if you halve the number of collateral needed, there is a good chance, given what the total market cap of all crypto is heading to, that the price of Dash doubles at that time. And it probably will double because you just have the number of requirements, so maybe more people will enter. So in the end result, you will have the same amount required in terms of fiat. So it won't that much helps, really.
Yeah, as in the Dash amount can be halved, but then the fiat amount will be the same. That's the
Right.
thing that really sticks out for this is one thing that always impressed me about the way Evan Duffield has figured this whole thing out is the economics of it, how he understands human behavior, and human behavior is a massive part of any distributed network that people just don't get. Oh, it's all about the code. No, it's how about people interact with the code. And the one thing about, masternodes, obviously they're incentivized nodes to run the network. And if you need more or need less, what happens when you need to start spending a lot of money per month to run a node, right? And you have like 1,000 Dash collateral, and so there's so many nodes, and this is the amount of income you get. And what happens? You cut it in half, and then all of a sudden, each node doesn't have the amount of returns necessary to make it economically worthwhile to even run a node with all the extra costs.
I think you're
So
still
there's
okay with 500. If you start getting down into 100, then yeah, I could see that could be an issue.
Yeah.
The cost, even with evolution, even with some future thought that we have, it won't be that costly, really. And especially with the return that you have. Yeah, it won't be 10 euro per month, but it will be what, 40 at max? It won't be that much.
So what about the cost to buy/build all this custom hardware for a masternode and then run it every month? I mean, the startup cost has got to be at least a few €100 each, right? And if not, and then per month it could
Why?
be like 100.
No,
I don't know.
think so. Even with the Xeon
why?
processor,
I don't understand why.
Maybe.
Well,
it depends on which level. So what if we're running over 5,000 transactions per second, or yeah, what was that? Was that the eventual goal? What do we have? 400 plus megabyte blocks, and they're all full. What level of hardware and what level of bandwidth will be needed for that? I don't know the answer to that question.
I think this is what the Dash Labs and the roadmaps set out to achieve and research, because it's the ultimate question, isn't it? And I think every masternode owner's
there right now. We just have to wait for him to come back to the present year in his DeLorean with the spinning rims.
And it kind of comes back to Moore's law again, because in that roadmap, Evan mentions Xeon processors. For those that get VPSs and stuff, know the kind of costs involved with that as well. But this is why I think that there is this big grey area and question mark at the moment, because people don't know what to expect, because it's still a bit blasé. Like, we're not sure. There's no right or wrong answer at the moment. So because I think, who said it earlier? Like, I think it might have been Brian. Like, there's no direct need for it yet. But the reason why I bring up masternodes is in 2 weeks' time, our fees are going to go down by 10, but also instant send transaction fees as well. And I would love to really push that message out into the crypto sphere and beyond it, to say, look, now even instant send transactions are super, super, super cheap compared to everything else. People are going to look into that, understand that the instant send transactions work over masternodes, and obviously that brings a lot more questioning along with it. So it's just one big, massive conversation, but I feel we're so far off, even with the masternode shares voting as well. It's just it's still too premature to think about this stuff, because it's too far away.
Evan said he was going to put something together, but I'm sure he's really busy. But yeah, nobody's wants that more than me. The masternode shares, not just the voting, but the interest-bearing accounts. I think that's just such a huge feature. But it is a while off. Yeah, it is a way.
Yeah, wasn't it like 2019 or something? Like,
it's a few years away.
Yeah.
No, Alex, because you know more about the technical aspects than anyone here. We're all like practical Luddites, not very good at technology. But Evan mentioned something in my last video interview with him where he said that he could really easily and quickly write up some specifications for masternode share providers to be able to allow their shareholders to vote. He just made it sound like it was super easy and he was going to do that.
He specifically said if they wanted it, he would.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
he could help
He
us
just
make
said
it work.
write
And
down the
everyone said
comments
they
to this
wanted it.
video.
Everybody wants
just
that.
write down the comments. Everyone wants it, and then Evan's off picking flowers or whatever he's doing right now. Evan's very busy, I'm sure.
But didn't he make a comment though as well, saying that would be down to the service providers, meaning Flare, Mukalmu, and Splarwick 21, like saying that's down to them.
But he would write up some quick specifications on how they could do that.
I
mean,
yet to see those specifications though. Take an example. Okay, so in the end, you have your masternode that you run as a service provider, and you sell some shares. Okay, at each shares, let's say for having easier calculation, that it's 100 Dash per share. So for each masternode, you have 10 shares. Good. In the end, one masternode is one vote. Let's say that each of these shares have a voting power, right? And you take the supramajority that you store somewhere in an internal database that is being run by the service provider. And at the end of the month, when you have debating whatever you have done, or just telling, okay, I'm abstaining on that, I'm voting yes, no, etc., you take the majority, the supramajority internal vote, and you broadcast it to the network. And that's it. There is no need to complexify something in addition to the protocol. We can do that if we, in the end, handle this part as a protocol level. But in the service level, it can be done already today. It's just some development, or maybe there is something I don't see that is more complicated.
Yes.
But
so how about this? I think how difficult? This is where I get, I showcase my complete ignorance in the subject. Is how difficult. I understand that at some point it may be possible to hold masternode collateral in a multi-signature wallet, although that might not be perhaps this year. Depends on how things happen. But would it be possible to, just how a multi-signature wallet requires multiple signatures to move an amount, would it be possible, let's say within the next year, to implement a system where you could do a multi-signature vote?
Chuck Williams would be, he's working on the Copay wallet, right? He's leading that. So, but voting wise, I'm not sure he would know.
The problem,
that's a big question.
The problem is the number of people that share that multisig. If it's at max 10 people, probably I will need to think more on that in order to have a real answer. But it would be probably possible. If we are talking about shares of 1 Dash and you have 1,000 people, the size of the signature will be that big, and the time to handle it will be that consuming that sadly it won't be. For 10 people, 4, 5, maybe.
Yeah, I think if there's also a tie between the people, then whoever is running the service, whether it's Splarwick or Mukal, they would be the one who breaks the tie, kind of like in the Senate or whatever. And then if people don't like how Mukal's voting, then they can go to Splarwick, or if they don't like how they can go to somebody else, or they can create their own service to,
Yes, and to be honest, I wasn't even thinking about present share providers like them. I was also thinking about, for example, I have a few friends that there's like 3 or 4 of them that have a masternode together. And what they do is every voting cycle, they get together, and then they get together on discuss the votes, discuss what they want to vote on. They kind of come to a consensus, and then one of them, whoever runs the masternode, they trust that person to then vote according to the group's will, right? And that's a great little system, except it is very trusted. So if there was an easy way of making it so, for one thing, the masternode collateral will be held into a multi-signature wallet, removing a little bit of the trust in there, then, well, two is, I see the face you're making, Alex. Obviously not removing all the trust.
I love the idea, though, Joel. You just made me think of Graham DeBarra when he said about having community-owned masternodes, so they can all come together and vote in terms of parliament, all sorts of things.
Exactly.
So I can see where you're going for. Like, the vision of it is great. the practicality of it, Alex's face tells you everything.
No, actually, I love when everything is automated and everything works smoothly, and that you can just vote from your phone while you are cooking or whatever. You don't have to discuss with anyone because, you know, dev people and stuff like that. But in the matter of fact, here you have an awesome stuff. Let's say I have a proposal that states that, yeah, do we have to paint every wall in pink? I don't know. Or at the color of Dash, you go, whatever. And I will say, no, it's wasted money. I don't want that. I have already my decision. It's very, I know what I want, and it's no. So I vote no. If there is many people that says no, in the end, no vote is being broadcasted. But maybe the only guy that say, no, we need that. And he has a way to explain why, and is for that smart that is foresee something that none of us see. You have a discussion that take place where, oh, right, you have this, but okay, and what about that? And the discussion going on. And no one from the core team, for the community, has to educate no one. They educate themselves by discussing. They become quite democratic people. They take a good decision based on their reflection, but also the thought of other one. And probably, you know, it's crowd thinking. In the end, you can take a turn. You take in a room, you take the best expert in guessing the temperature of the room. If you take 1,000 people that doesn't know how to guess the temperature of the room, because of the Gauss distribution, they will have the answer, the perfect number of the temperature of the room, and the expert will be just clueless. Why? Because Gaussian distribution and crowd makes the good answer. In this case, you have that thing that I expect taking place. So in the end, it's not practical. It's awful and whatever. It's the best solution for what we want in some place, discussion, best decision, etc. So actually, we should double the so we have more people getting together to have a masternode.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. Are you still, so like you're 100% in Dash, Alex, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you're, okay. I don't, is DJ Crypto, are you still in the live chat? Nate, I was talking to Alex about getting a Dash tattoo a while ago now. And we came to the 15 Dash mark. Might have to revise that. But Alex was up for getting a Dash tattoo because Dash has changed his life in a big way for the better. And he would be open to getting a Dash tattoo. So I said, if the community can come together and raise 15 Dash, we could get in a tattoo shop and
Did I say 15?
Tattoo. Are you still game for that?
Did I say 15?
I think it was 15. Am I wrong?
No, actually, I won't take any kind of game before any rebranding. After that, I will.
But no, because then you can get an extra one. You can get the Dark Send, 11. It's like the journey, mate. So you'll be incentivized to work well on Dash Revolution.
It's as much crazy if in a cold thinking, it's as much crazy as typically what you don't want to do, and you don't have to do that. But in the same way, that's part of my life, and indeed, whatever happened tomorrow, that's part of the journey, like you said. So yeah, after the location is to be debated and the size is to be debated, obviously.
Well, hang on. So are we talking like upper arm, or where would you get the tattoo? Come on, it's got to be visible, right?
Neck, right down his neck.
I can, yeah, but have the hair, so I would be able to. I shave myself, I cut up that, and then let the hair grow on that.
Yes. Well, that's what you need to do.
What about Dash on my knuckles?
No.
No, I like that.
No,
yeah.
be fair,
Dash, it's your Dash.
Dash.
Little drops.
Oh, it's like love hate. Be it Dash.
Yes.
No,
you get it on the back side. On one cheek, it's mother, and the other one is Dash.
To be the location has to be discussed.
So
I
you are
cannot,
up
you know.
for it then.
Actually, I might, yeah.
You are up for it. Okay. So we need to. So the only thing really is we need to decide on the
Amount?
the dash amount. I need to crowdfund from the community.
Can we
decide
raise it?
the location.
Can we raise
Can-
it? You
can
know,
we
because the
record it
price
when
has
it's been
been
done as
dropped,
well?
you know.
I'll come to France and I'll live stream it.
What's going on in France?
Alex is going to get a Dash tattoo, and we're going to crowdfund.
France?
Well, I thought it was 15 Dash that we mentioned before, but I mean, it was a while ago, and it was after a beer or two.
I mean, I'll get one if it's 15 Dash. It's not that bad.
Yeah, I'll get another one. I got plenty. Sign me up.
What the hell's going on? Like, initially, Crypto was going to get one, so the YouTuber, but obviously...
Did he back off?
Well, he got cold feet. I think it was the girlfriend when he got back home. But he was really, really up for it.
You mean like Charlie Shrem style cold feet?
No, never.
Did he scam the network? Did he scam the network, Mark?
That's the biggest insult you could give right now.
Do we have anything else on that? So, since y'all brought it up, is there any?
I'm working on an internal investigation, which will be published.
Quiet as a church mouse. I've not heard anything. However, I don't know if Alex knows this yet. I mean, it's not major news, but I had an email today, just a generic email, an email from Mo Levin from Keynote, and they did, for those that don't know, Keynote were the people that put on the Dash conference and World Blockchain Forum. And I had an email today about the North American Bitcoin conference in January, which is taking place in Miami. That's a big conference, people, to be aware of. So those of you thinking back to the beginning of the year that remember Ryan Taylor's amazing presentation about Dash Evolution, got everyone super, super pumped and excited. That was at that event at the beginning in January of this year. So that's something you want to pull into your calendars. So that I only got that email today, and I believe the website is up. It might be something like BTC Miami or something like that. I might have to double check now. But you do not want to miss that event if you are about, because I'm sure that probably the core team will be putting in a proposal for that anytime now, because that's the money maker. So I want to go. I want to go. I want to. Maybe we can get Alex to get a tattoo at the event in Miami. Wow, come on. That's not happening.
Yeah, no. If we have to do that, it won't be during a conference. Remember that we have to. This is something that has a lot of meaning, yeah, but in the same time can be so as childish, you know. It might be better to let them at least think that the developers behind Dash are more smarter than that. So at the conference itself.
I don't know. It's a community thing. It's fun. I mean, like earlier on, Joel had the cushion of the Doge dog meat. I mean, like
you want my Doge pillow?
Yeah, man.
Doge pillow.
Yeah,
Darren Tapp has at least 4 of these.
Yeah,
it's team Dr. Tapp.
So actually, someone in the live Q&A has said "tat for charity." Pressure's on now, Alex. If you say no to that, you're a horrible human being.
Yeah, you hate the children. Why do you hate the children?
Why would you do that, Alex?
Well, never mind. Hating the children might be fashionable in today's world with all the horrible disclosures coming out.
Actually, folks, talking about charity, I have one very, very quick announcement to make on behalf of August in the community from Bit to Byte, formerly Bit by Bit. Tomorrow night.
Bit to Byte.
So Bit to Byte now. So on August will be hosting a esports event tomorrow on Twitch at 11 p.m. CST at Central Standard Time, which will be sponsored and hosted by the biggest player in mobile esports history. And that's to do with Clash of Clans. So he's going to be having a Dash donation address on there. And I hope he's going to talk a bit about Dash as well. If that floats your boat and you're interested in that and you're going to be about tomorrow, join us in the after party, and August will be there and he can tell you more about it. This is a great opportunity because thousands of people tune into this particular charity called Extra Life. So kudos to August for doing this. So yeah, if you are interested in that and you're into Clash of Clans, which I know there's a lot of people out there, so yeah, get involved.
Yeah, let me throw one thing out there too. Dash Dude is trying to raise some money for the it's an African soccer team. I think it's called the Leopards, if that's right.
Dashing Dude. Yeah, the
Dashing
Dash
Dude.
Leopards. And
yeah, so yeah, throw him some love too.
throw him some
you know,
D's.
And if you've got lots of D's and you want to see Alex get a tattoo, get in touch.
Yeah, I mean, I just
Or if
got
there's
one,
any budding
whatever.
artists out there that can come up with something really creative, maybe we can have like a Stella Bell type like conversation, like an art piece. We can auction off parts of Alex's body for maybe we can get like a Stay Dashy like on his back or something with my face on it, so like he can never forget me.
Like Steve.
Yes, I claim the left nipple.
Okay, I understand. You don't want me to ever get sex again.
No, only with the lights off. You know, it's usually better.
That's the next fundraiser. That might be more than 15 Dash.
In Amsterdam.
Yes.
Oh dear. It's got to that time, folks. So I think we might have gone over now. So I think it's probably time to wrap up. So has anyone else got any final words or announcements before we wrap up episode 24 of the Free Amigos?
Oh well,
Yes,
go ahead.
Yeah, my bit is just, what is it, Friday? So Sunday, I'm jumping on a plane to Europe, and I'll be spending a couple days in France before jumping over to Vienna because the House of Nakamoto is integrating Dash. It's going to be amazing. There's going to be a meetup on the 9th of November, also known as, I believe, Conference Call Day. Dash Core Conference Call, woo! And then 2 days later, I'm going to be one of the speakers at the European Students for Liberty Regional Conference. And so I'm going to be hopefully, I heard some estimates around like 100 to 130 attendees. That's not bad. I should a lot of young people, a lot of people who do not have Dash wallets but will have Dash wallets after the fact. So this is going to be a good time. And hopefully if everything goes well and everything, people like me going to conferences, I might put out a proposal to go to more conferences, and maybe I can do one a month next year or something. Just spread the Dash love all over the place. So that's what's going on in my world.
I was just going to say, I just did the MooBot network, 655 terahashes. It's a hash rate. Crazy.
Wow. I've not looked into mining for a little while, so
I bet. The Genesis.
Might have to pay for next week.
Yeah.
But yeah, excellent. Well, that's it for another episode of the Free Amigos. I'd like to thank Alex Werner of Dash Core for joining us today. We hope to have you again in the future.
Thank you.
Well done to Joel for last week and his amazing performance at the Texas Bitcoin Conference. Well done for Brian for being Brian. And yeah. Keep it locked to dashforcenews.com, the #1 source for Dash News. And we'll see you next week. Say bye, everyone.
See ya.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.